Well, hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to our study on riches, wealth, having. Last time around, we saw the good in it because it is sometimes a blessing of the Lord, but also the evils and dangers of it. We try to create a path that keeps us right in the middle of it. And so on that path, we're going to continue actually. As we move along and look at next couple of verses or sayings on wealth and riches and God's blessing, we will look at the right use and wrong use of riches. Now, when I say wrong use is, sometimes what comes to mind is really carnal, evil things, but actually, Proverbs is wisdom. It's just common sense. So, it will present examples that will kind of shock us a bit. Examples like this one. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will surely suffer harm, but he who hates striking hands in pledge is secure. To give it a more contemporary term, think of being a co-signer for somebody. Co-signer at the bank. That's the idea. It's contrasted because the first, you do it for this stranger. Now, a stranger in the Old Testament term, we've seen it before, it's somebody from other nations. So right away, that's a red flag. It's not just somebody you don't know, it's somebody who's from another faith, another way of following another God. Don't do that. And you contrast that with this idea of striking the hand, which is, making a deal. We understand that. But there's a hate towards it. There's a recalcitrant, don't think I should be yoking myself to the stranger. Now, doesn't the Bible tell us and warn us about being yoked with strangers? Yeah. So even though it seems nice and good to want to help somebody, in a sense, it puts you under a yoke. And that's what a pledge is. That's what co-signing is. It's yoking yourself. Don't do it. That's not a right way, a safe way of using your wealth, your riches, your own name. Now you may think, okay, strangers, no. That's not the only person. When you go a bit further down in the Proverbs, you read this. One who lacks sense gives a pledge and puts up security in the presence of his neighbor. This expression, the presence of the neighbor, it's not just he'll be there, you're doing it for them. That's kind of the idea here. And he says this lacks sense. It's not wise. But he's a neighbor though. Actually, more, it's a word that means companion, friend, somebody close. Yet still, wisdom says, common sense says, don't do that. Don't yoke yourself in that way. Again, we're told, it's not that it's good or evil per se, it's just, it's not wise. It's not safe. You're yoking yourself under an institution, here a bank, then it was people, for somebody else. Don't do that. You can help in many other ways, right? We should. But common sense says still there needs to be wisdom when we try to help people. And that doesn't, it's not removed when we get the New Testament and also it's all about love and helping others. There's still wisdom that needs to be used here. And I think that's one of the main problems with modern Christianity when we try to help everybody. We don't want to use common sense and wisdom. We think it's all about love without thinking, but no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not biblical. So like I said, it's not what we thought, but they are things, bad ways of using our riches that, yeah, we definitely understand that one. Like it's when it says this. A stingy man hastens after wealth and does not know that poverty will come upon him. Stingy is the word, an expression that means an evil eye. And it says, I want. Like Scrooge McDuck, right? I want, I must have, I will do anything to get it. Just like this word hasten doesn't actually to be quick, but it's more of a notion of being anxious and worried. Always thinking about, do I have enough? Do I put in the right bank account? Did I invest in the right place? Is it going to make enough money? Do I have enough to retire? That kind of worrying for wealth, to secure yourself with finances, ends up having this poverty creature coming after you, stalking you, and taking everything from you. I find it striking because modern day wealth prosperity preachers who have the evil eye, who are anxious about money and want other people to be too, don't realize how spiritually poor they are, how poverty will strike them, at least spiritual poverty for sure. And this is the warning. It's a general warning. It doesn't mean it'll always happen like this, but it's there. Now, with this idea of this poverty monster rolling around, we continue with yet another similar proverb that says this: whoever oppresses the poor to increase his own wealth, or gives to the rich, will only come to poverty. Again, it's right there at the door, ready to pounce on you. Now, the first expression we understand, right? Oppressing the poor, right? Taking advantage of them, that to increase your own wealth. Here again, I have to say that the prosperity preachers, that's what they do. That's what they do. They take advantage of the poor and foolish people who just want to make it. They go to countries that are even poorer and take advantage of them. But they don't understand how spiritually poor and destructive this is for their soul. So that we get it. We get people who are abused to get more money. We get that. Give to the rich, though, most probably, as almost every commentator was saying, is this notion of trying to buy yourself into a high society. But we see through the history. With those who, because in business deals, they end up being able to make money, and they try to kind of hobnob with the rich and the powerful, with the kings and the elite, who have money for generation to generation. They're very powerful people. They try to buy themselves in there. They basically give money to the rich to get themselves close to the powerful like that. But here again, you end up making yourself poor. And when your business fails and you can't give them gifts, those rich people don't forget about you. Yeah, but we were friends. No. You were part of our society, we accepted you, but now that you've become poor, we don't want you anymore. So either way, there's a risk. Either way, your efforts to make it could end up breaking you. So that's what we're learning so far. We're seeing how this love of money, this focus on money, is destructive. And so it just makes sense that the next proverb tells us, whoever is greedy for unjust gain troubles his own household. But he who hates bribes will live. There's so many contrasts going on in this simple verse, right? We start with this greed. Greed is about loving the money here. Loving this unjust gain. Let's gain unjust. Again, the oppressing of the poor. You're loving it. You're loving making it by making other people suffer. But then you contrast that with the hate. You focus on the gain, which is all about the effort you get something. Right? Gain is through efforts. And then you measure with bribe, which is a gift. Most probably you get bribes, more than give bribes here, but still. So the one who loves putting the effort to get compared to those who hate even getting gifts, crooked, dangerous, destructive gifts. And then you have the consequences, who also contrasted between troubling your whole house is trouble. Are you living? You trouble, you destroy, you ruin yourself, or you bless yourself. You don't focus on the wealth, on the gifts. You say, no, thank you. And then you live. Yeah, we did see that sometimes God's blessing will bring wealth, but it's not about that. And it's not about rejecting it when God gives it. It's about the obsession of it. And when I keep that in mind, as we now focus on the last verse, it says this: a bribe is a magic stone in the eyes of the one who gives it. Wherever he turns, he prospers. We need to understand all this is in his imagination. Just like the one who thinks that his riches are a strong wall, a protection. This person thinks by his bribes, right, by trying to buy himself into high society, he can open every door, fix every problem, get everything done he wants done. He sees it as a magic stone, a good luck charm. As long as I can give money away, I can buy anything I want, get anything I want. Even buy love, buy health. They think that their finances, their gifts will get them what they want. It's on their mind. So that's the corruption of the wealth focus, of the obsession with money. You will ruin other people's lives. You will destroy your family and your life. And you'll make it almost your God, thinking this will fix everything. There's some real dangers and bad uses of wealth, riches, and finances. Okay, but can we do something good with it? Glad you asked. We will end with a long saying. I said before how certain passages in the sayings part, in the quotations part, Proverbs 10 to 30, there's certain passages where they have long, more elaborate, poetic teaching going on, like the one with the ant. Well, in chapter 27, we read this. We'll read it in full and then we'll comment on it. Know well the condition of your flocks and give attention to your herds. For riches do not last forever. And does a crown endure to all generations? When the grass is gone and new growth appears, and the vegetation of the mountains gather, lambs will provide you clothing, and the goats the price of a field. There will be enough goat milk for your food, for the food of your household, and mittens to your girls. Now we want to break this down. First, know well the condition of your flocks and attention to your herds. Now, we don't have herds and flocks anymore. We have cars and houses and investment portfolios, retirement packages. But there's a sense here, it's be watchful over it. You are a steward of these things. God has given you these things. Be watchful. Be careful of them. Don't have a detached focus on all that, saying, I don't need any of it. I don't want to focus on any of it. No, you're a steward of it. Be watchful over it. But, or as it says, for riches don't last forever, and then there's the crown. You won't always have that power or those riches. These things can go, can leave. You're watchful over them, but because you don't have that obsession over wealth like the other one before, you recognize sometimes you have, sometimes you don't. You have the contentment call here that Paul talks about. To be content that you have more or less. You're watchful over it. You use it as best as you can. And when it goes away, you go, okay. And if you have more of it, how can I manage this better? And then he adds the idea of the grass that's gone, but there's new growth and vegetation because everything's cyclical. For every time that there is abundance, there's a recession. But that never lasts forever. It comes back to abundance again. It keeps turning around. And we've seen that in the last couple of years or decade, more or less. Where stuff happened, we had a pretty bad financial situation, and it's bouncing back, and now there's problems, and it's always fluctuating. It's always turning. And you don't obsess over it. You just watch over what you got, and you care for it. Because you will have what you need, right? The lamb will provide the clothes, and the goats will provide the price for your field. You will have what you need. As it says here, there will be enough goat's milk. God will give you what you need. He will provide. You will find contentment, and you will recognize that things change. Sometimes you have, sometimes you don't. Just watch over it, and you will have what you need. You might go hungry sometimes, but you'll have what you need. You'll have the provision of the Lord. This is what we saw also last time. This notion of just, it's not about getting as much as you can to keep and trusting these things. Thinking if I have enough of a cushion in my bank account and I'm putting enough away for my retirement, I'll be okay. Don't trust in these things, they can be taken away. Focus on the here and now. stewarding it well, trusting in God, when things go cyclical, just keep living what you got. That's the best way of using your riches and wealth. God gives, He takes away. Use well what you have. Honor God through that. I can't say a better message. Everything we've seen in that. Honor God with what you got. You got more, honor Him with that. You got less, honor Him with that. Just take good care of it and trust God for the rest. I hope this has been a blessing for you. And who knows where we'll look at next in the book of Proverbs. On this note, be blessed.